I've noticed a trend the past few years of entertainment studios hiring celebrities as voice actors, and I just don't get it. I'm not just talking about taking Hollywood actors and having them voice for animation. I'm talking about everyone from singers to athletes to talk show hosts to voice characters in movies, TV shows, and video games. And sometimes when Hollywood actors are hired, they don't sound right because they don't know how to voice act. Voice acting takes an entirely different skill set from live action acting, because the actors can't use their body language to help with their performance. They're either sitting or standing and just speaking into a microphone, so they have to use their voice to sell what their character is saying. It wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing if so many of them didn't do such a terrible job. One of the most glaring examples of this, and what made me want to make this video, is the 2019 The Lion King. It seems like every character is miscast, either because the person hired isn't an actor or is but doesn't know how to voice act. They have Chiwetel Ejiofor as Scar, who only has one voice acting credit from 2004, J.D. Crary as young Simba, who has no voice acting experience and was probably only hired because he was a young singer. They have Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen as Timon and Pumbaa, but god they cannot sing. And Beyonce as Nala. I literally don't know why they cast her other than she's a famous singer. The only professional voice actor they hired was Phil Lamar to play the voice of an impala for one scene. Why? Almost every performance drags every scene down because it just sounds awful. Take John Oliver as Zazu for example. Whenever he speaks, I don't hear Zazu, I hear John Oliver, and it's really distracting.
Basically, think of the royals as Mickey and Minnie at Disneyland. They're not running the rides, but they're a mascot for the whole operation, and people kind of like having their pictures taken with them.
The king approaches. This is not a drill. His Majesty has requested an audience. Upon his entrance, you will rise and genuflect.
It is true that some voice actors use the real voice for almost every character, like John Benjamin.
Hey, thanks for letting me be Yoda.
If this restaurant fails, I'm gonna kill myself.
The good news is now I'm furious.
Or Keith David.
This castle is all we have left. We will not abandon it.
I will continue my campaign against the humans.
What the hell are you doing, Nathan? I'm the goddamn president of the United States!
But they voice each character in such a different way with their inflections and tones that you can differentiate each character from the actor's other ones. But here, it just sounds like John Oliver, and it doesn't fit the image of a bird that is shown, and I can barely understand what he's even saying half the time.
Upon his entrance, you will rise and genuflect. A monarch who ignores tradition. If this is where the monarchy is headed, count it out.
That last one, I'm pretty sure, is because he doesn't know how to rhythmically talk in a song. When you are speaking in a song like that, you need to over-enunciate in order to get all the proper sounds of each word out, which he is clearly not doing, because count me out turns into county out, and your words need to flow with the rhythm of the music, which his does not. I don't know anything about singing, but even I know that. The best comparison I can show is Rowan Atkinson as Zazu in the 1994 version.
I think it's time that you and I arranged a heart-to-heart.
I think it's time that you and I arranged a heart-to-heart.
Another thing John Oliver doesn't seem to know how to do is to pretend to get interrupted. There should be some kind of sound at the end of the line to show a disturbance in the speech, otherwise it just sounds weird. Pay attention to how Rowan Atkinson ends his lines when Simba and Nala start singing compared to how John Oliver does it.
No one's saying do this.
Now when I said that,
No one's saying be there.
what I meant was...
No one's saying see here.
Now see here!
No one's saying do this.
Now, when I said that,
No one's saying be there.
what I meant
No one's
was...
saying see here.
Now see here!
Notice how Rowan adds the first sound of the next word as an audio cue that he wanted to keep talking. Like, when I said that, or what I meant was that. Those added sounds are so small, but they do so much. Where John Oliver doesn't do those added sounds, so it sounds like he just stopped talking and it ruins the impact of Simba and Nala interrupting him. Especially with the way "now see here" is said. Rowan Atkinson's is said angrily, so it shows his frustration with continuously getting interrupted. Where John Oliver's just sounds like he's scolding them or something. Seriously, did they hire John Oliver just for that one scene where he gives Mufasa the news because he's a comedic news anchor? What the hell? At least it seems like they tried with casting Chiwetel Ejiofor as Scar. He's a great actor and was fantastic in Doctor Strange and 12 Years a Slave, but he just does not have it for this role. Everything he says is monotoned and sounds like he just wants to kill everyone around him.
Zazu, you've made me lose my lunch. Well, look who's come down to mingle with the commoners.
And when he does try to show inflection, it turns out horribly.
I tried to make you understand what a true king can be.
That sounded like he was trying to suppress a cough.
True king.
Hey John, I got a cough there. Can I do another take? Nah, it'll be fine. No one will notice. I think what they were going for was this.
I am the king.
You can hear the deep growl Jeremy Irons puts in the line that makes him sound like a lion.
Ooh, I quiver with fear.
But Chiwetel comes off like he's just coughing. I know Jeremy Irons' voice is naturally deeper, but you don't need a naturally deep voice to do that. Take Kyle McCarley's performance as Tem the alpaca and Jimna the lion in Beastars, for example.
Do you get lonely? You know, because you're so big?
If not, do we merge or transfer?
What are you thinking? That can't be good for you.
Not a chance.
Looking at you right now, I was kind of struck by just how big your body is.
That club owner may be tiny, but his web of connections is huge.
One has a softer, higher-pitched voice, while the other has a gruffer, deeper voice. At one point, each character even makes the same noise, but it sounds completely different because one is an alpaca and the other is a lion. It's called voice acting. Find someone who can do it. Anyway, sometimes great actors can't reprise old roles and have it sound as good as it used to. Like with James Earl Jones as Mufasa. He's a legend in both voice and live action acting, but he just doesn't have the same power to his voice as he did in 1994.
Don't turn your back on me, Scar.
Oh no, Mufasa. Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me.
Is that a challenge? Don't turn your back on me, Scar.
Oh no, Mufasa, perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me.
Is that a challenge? Look, Simba. Everything the light touches is our kingdom. Look, Simba. Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
In the 1994 version, he sounds powerful and like a strong lion that can rule over a kingdom. But in the 2019 one, he sounds like a confused old man. It makes me wonder how someone didn't overthrow him already.
You ruled all of that?
Yes.
And there are points where it's obvious that they use recordings from 1994 with how different his voice sounds.
Sarabi and I didn't see you at the presentation of Simba.
I'm not saying he's a bad actor now, but certain sounds to our voices degrade with age, and it sucks. But if they didn't want to use archive recordings for the whole movie, they should have hired someone else to play this role, even with how iconic it is. But he's certainly not the most miscast character in this movie. I will never understand why they hired Beyonce as Nala. Her acting is terrible and is so bad it hurts my ears. Just listen to how bad her acting is compared to Maura Kelly in 1994.
We've really needed you at home. You're the king.
Nala, we've been through this. I'm not the king. Scar is.
Simba, if you don't do something soon, everyone will starve.
I can't go back.
Why?
You wouldn't understand.
What wouldn't I understand?
No. It doesn't matter. Hakuna Matata.
What?
Why haven't you come home? We've really needed you. You're the king.
Nala, Scar is the king.
You need to challenge Scar.
I can't go back. Ever.
Why?
None of it matters, okay? Hakuna Matata.
What?
Yeah, Simba, you need to come back and overthrow Scar. It's really important, but if you don't want to, that's fine, I guess, because from the tone of my voice, it doesn't sound like a big deal. Why didn't they hire Nakata Kalamaharis, the original voice of young Nala, for this role? How cool would it have been if they had the actress who played young Nala in the 1994 version play adult Nala in the 2019 version? But they hired Beyonce instead because she's a celebrity. At least she can sing well. You know what? I take that back. The Lion King certainly isn't the only thing to hire celebrities as voice actors. At NetherRealm Studios' Mortal Kombat 11 reveal event in 2019, they announced that Ronda Rousey, a UFC fighter and WWE wrestler, was voicing Sonya Blade, and she does an absolutely terrible job. She has no inflection and sounds like she has no idea how to show emotion in her voice.
I like the parts of you that look like me.
So your future's looking bright?
It looks too much like Johnny Cage. One day I'll get you, Kano.
Till then, I'm a thorn in your side.
Good thing I'm handy with pliers.
One day I'll get you, Kano. All her fight intros sound like this. It might not have been so bad if she only sounded like this in the fight intros and she actually did a good job in story mode. But she sounds like this in that too.
Raiden's right, Johnny. We're not ready for another war. We've got to take out NetherRealm's army now, before Liu Kang can bring it here.
And it completely ruins emotional scenes. Like Sonya's last words to her daughter before she dies.
I'm here, Cass. And I'm not gonna make it.
What? I'm not leaving you behind!
Get your team home. That's an order. Your duty. Mine's to finish the mission.
Mom, no! We can save you!
I love you, Cass. Give your dad a kiss for me.
Or when past Sonya finds out present Sonya is dead.
Son of a bitch. Seriously?
Or when past Sonya apologizes to Cassie Cage for being a jerk.
Listen, what I said back at the base about the mission, it wasn't fair. You're a damn fine soldier.
These are supposed to be emotional scenes, and Erica Landbeck and Andrew Bowen do a great job with their roles as Cassie Cage and Johnny Cage, and make the scene where Johnny finds out that Sonya died really emotional.
Thank God you're back.
How did the mission go?
But then you remember that you heard this.
Mine's to finish the mission.
And it makes it less sad. There were even times when it sounds like they took 2 different takes and just mashed them together.
How the hell do I ever sleep with that guy? It wasn't easy finding out how I die or could die.
It wasn't easy. Were those seriously the best takes they could get? Well, she couldn't say the full line well, but parts of these takes are okay. Let's just clip them together, no one will notice. I don't know which is worse, if they genuinely thought she did a good job, or if they knew how bad she was, left her in there anyway, and then lied about it. Just listen to the language and excitement when they announced her involvement at the reveal event.
Before we go, what other changes have you made for this installment?
We have something really special for Mortal Kombat 11. We have a real-life badass playing one of our most iconic characters in the game, and we cannot wait to make this announcement.
Hi.
Please give a warm welcome to the reigning Raw Women's Champion, the first woman ever to be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame, and the voice of Sonya Blade, Ronda Rousey! Ronda, thank you so much for being here. How does it feel to be part of an iconic franchise like Mortal Kombat and to be voicing Sonya Blade?
Oh, this is a dream come true, and now instead of being the closest thing I can be to Sonya Blade, I am actually Sonya Blade.
So how did you prepare for this role?
I tried to inhabit her headspace by actually emulating her fighting style, and I got to do her Karana on Triple H at WrestleMania, so he was my Kano for the evening. I've been watching the gameplay, and so, yeah, I was just getting my In Your Sonya in.
Ronda, thank you so much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for the voice of Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat 11, Ronda Rousey!
They called it a change, like the voice actor is some feature, and they seem genuinely proud of what they did. I don't even know if she knows what she's talking about, or just making stuff up. I swear, the only reason they hired Ronda Rousey was for marketing reasons. Seriously, what was so wrong with bringing back Sonya Blade's MK9 voice and Dana Barron, or Teresa Helfer reprising her role from MKX? At least they have voice acting experience and don't sound terrible with every line.
Sonya Blade was the first kick-ass girl that I saw come onto the scene, and I've always admired her, and now I get to try and be her. I'm just glad that my sacrifice saved Earthrealm. Voicing a character has been really different and really interesting and fun because I don't have to think about how I look and only about how I sound. You'll kill us whether we fight or not. It almost gives me permission to be as ridiculous as humanly possible because no one's looking and no one's judging, and all that matters is what it sounds like. You might be alive in this future, but that can change. Feels so good to say. Say it loud, it feels great. Yeah!
Feels great! You just butchered one of the series' most iconic characters. Yeah! To make matters worse, or maybe better, Ronda Rousey apparently wasn't available to record lines for later DLC, because Sonya is barely in the story DLC. She just silently shoots some Shokan, gets knocked out, and then is taken to Outworld, never to be seen again. They also reused previous dialogue for Sonya Blade's fighting intros with later DLC characters.
Just never stops with you, does it?
Not until I claim Medenia.
Seriously, not liking this idea. Just never stops with you, does it?
I live to conquer, Blade.
Something you and Cage have in common.
But Sonya Blade's not the only character to get screwed over in this game. On December 6, 2018, NetherRealm Studios released the reveal trailer for Mortal Kombat 11. That night, Patrick Seitz, the voice of Scorpion since MK vs. DC Universe in 2008, tweeted out, quote, "Well, that's a hell of a way to find out I'm not voicing Scorpion in Mortal Kombat 11. So, it seems Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out soon, and it seems that I'm not voicing Scorpion in it. I can't speak for the rationale behind the recasting, as nobody told me anything, or that it even was a thing." End quote. He goes on to say that Mortal Kombat and Scorpion does belong to NetherRealm Studios and is not his character. But he does mention how much he loves voicing Scorpion, and that after 10 years, it would have been nice to at least get an email saying they were recasting the role. And I understand why he was frustrated about it, because it seems really disrespectful on NetherRealm's part just to recast the voice of the series' most iconic character without saying anything to the voice actor who voiced him for 10 years. Especially because it's possible he was recording lines for Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge at the same time. It would have been one thing if they had asked him and he had said no, but they couldn't have been bothered to even send him an email. At least Patrick Seitz was nice and understanding about it. They ended up casting Ron Yoon as the voice of Scorpion, who does a good job and is a great voice actor, but it's just not the same.
Where is the Lin Kuei, Sub-Zero? He killed my family and clan. I will have his head. You'll confess what you've long denied? That your clan's hands are soaked in Shirai Ryu blood? In the blood of my family? Harumi and Satoshi were stolen from me. Murdered. Seeing them again is all that matters. We share this pain. I fought through hell to end it.
I feel like Ron Yoon sounds too different, especially because they have Scorpion from MK9 in this because of the time travel storyline. It would have been so cool having Patrick Seitz finish the trilogy and hearing his version of Scorpion work with Sub-Zero some more, interact with his past self, and have his past self learn earlier what a mistake it was to lose control and kill Bi-Han. At first, I thought the recast was because they wanted someone of Asian heritage for the facial capture. But if that was the case, just have Patrick Seitz do the voice and use another actor for facial capture. All in all, I have no idea why they made this change. Seriously, what the hell? Some of the casting choices for MK11 just baffle me. F***ing NetherRealm. They did end up hiring Patrick Seitz to voice Scorpion in the Mortal Kombat Legends animated movies. I'm really glad they were able to come to some kind of arrangement, because he does a fantastic job in them. They even let him say Scorpion's iconic line,
"Get over here!"
instead of jarringly inserting Ed Boon's old recording.
Get over here!
What was that? Penance for being assholes? Hopefully they learned a lesson like Bungie kind of did. On April 29, 2010, Bungie announced a new video game series, Destiny, that was going to be a continuous game with new content for 10 years. Then at E3 2014, they showed their new Beginnings trailer featuring Peter Dinklage as Ghost, a robot companion to the player's character throughout the series. At this time, Dinklage was pretty much at the height of his career, due to being one of the main characters in Game of Thrones. You know, the series that won 59 Emmys during its run. So Bungie decided the best choice for one of their main characters in this game that they plan to update with new content, story, and lines of dialogue for the next 10 years was a popular actor who was already committed to an insanely popular TV show. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be available to record lines at a moment's notice.
I can make it work.
Well, he couldn't make it work, because in 2015, Bungie announced that Nolan North, the guy known for voicing in basically every video game and who they should have gone with in the first place, was going to replace Peter Dinklage as the voice of Ghost. And not only that, but they were also going to have him re-record all of Dinklage's lines and completely remove Dinklage from the game. North is definitely a better choice anyway, because listen to how bored Dinklage sounds compared to how much more life North gives to the character.
Don't worry, I'm still with you. We need to move. Fast.
Don't worry, I'm still with you. We need to move. Fast.
Your ghost will guide you. I only hope he chose wisely.
I did. I'm sure of it. We're in this together now.
Your ghost will guide you. I only hope he chose wisely.
I did. I'm sure of it. We're in this together now.
So, how do we find the Awoken?
They live all the way out at the edge of the darkness. Last place the light touches. Can't we just stay here with the murderous robots?
No, little light.
Don't do that.
So, how do we find the Awoken?
They live all the way out at the edge of the darkness. Last place the light touches. Can't we just stay here with the murderous robots?
No, little light.
Don't do that.
Some people speculated that the replacement was because Bungie and Activision were unsatisfied with Dinklage's performance, but Bungie claimed it was an availability problem. Almost like hiring someone who has a previous commitment to a wildly popular TV show for your 10-year project is a bad idea. Peter Dinklage is a great actor. I've never seen Game of Thrones except for a few episodes, but he won a Golden Globe and 4 Emmys for it, so he can't be completely terrible. I don't know, maybe he just didn't care. Either way, I can tell how much Nolan North does care about this and every other role he plays, because he's a professional voice actor and loves doing it. He also tries to voice a character for as long as he can, which many voice actors do. A couple examples of this is Kevin Conroy as Batman and Mark Hamill as the Joker. They both started voicing their respective characters in Batman the Animated Series in 1992, despite the fact that neither had much previous voice acting experience. Kevin Conroy had some bit parts in TV shows and movies, and his most notable role was Chase Kendall in Search for Tomorrow. And Mark Hamill mostly did live action acting in TV shows and movies, and was best known for playing Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. They both started doing more voice acting after this, and kept voicing Batman and the Joker whenever they could. And it was really cool watching them work together and play off of each other for so many years, and they always did a great job.
I've accessed Gotham's electrical mainframe to pinpoint the location of Joker's broadcast signal.
Oh, Batman! I hope you're watching, 'cause I've got a very special surprise for you.
Where is he? Do you realize what you've set free? What it's capable of? Do you have any idea?
This one won't be walking off the shelf anytime soon. In fact, the idea of her walking anywhere seems remote.
In 2015, Mark Hamill announced he was retiring from voicing the Joker because of the strain that it put on his voice. But then in 2016, Batman the Killing Joke was announced, and he decided to come back for that and ended up continuing to voice him after, with his most recent reprisal being in Scooby-Doo and Guess Who in 2019. Kevin Conroy never announced any retirement plans and kept voicing Batman right up until his unfortunate death on November 10th, 2022, with his final performance being in Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. And you could tell they both loved voicing these characters in every performance. They were always the highlight of any Batman-related project they were in, because you could hear the enthusiasm in the voice, and you can tell that they were acting out the part with their facial expressions, rather than standing there and just saying their lines. And they even seem to raise up the performances of other voice actors in their projects, because when you get even a couple of professionals who really care about their work, it can make the entire project that much better. And if you can get an entire group together, it can lift a project to such higher levels. One of the most recent examples is the Netflix series Beastars. This is a Japanese anime made by Orange, and its English voice acting is fantastic. It seems like every voice actor involved understands how to voice their respective characters and live up to the added challenge of selling that the animal that is shown's voice sounds like that, especially because the show points it out fairly early on.
Being this close when he speaks, I noticed that when carnivores talk, I can hear a deep growl in their voice.
Aru, even at this moment, do you feel like you're close to dying?
And every voice actor lives up to that. The big carnivores do have gruffer, almost growly voices, whether they're just talking, messing around, or angry.
Hey boss,
Don't throw yourself off the roof now.
Hate to break it to you, but no one will believe the weird pervert who boned a rabbit less than half his size. Good luck sucking up after that.
I'll take back my life by killing you!
To where the big herbivores don't have that.
You know, I've never been quite certain how one is meant to love or connect with a purchased child.
You got this? This wolf will take care of it.
Wait, what?
See ya!
A couple of monsters who lost their senses, tainted the stage with blood as if you owned it.
Even the smaller animals have a higher pitched voice than the bigger ones.
I would have been squashed with just one more step. And that's the reason they tell us to walk along the walls.
This may be partially edited in, but you can tell that it's still the voice actor changing his or her voice. Just listen to the sound difference between the voices of Griffin Puatu as Louis the Red Deer and KG Tang as Bill the Tiger.
That poor wolf. Could use a lesson from you.
You seem to have taken a great interest in Legoshi these days.
Why does he always pretend as if he is helpless and weak? You two are the total opposite.
I refuse to waste my life away living like that. Unlike him, I've got the makings of a true carnivore.
These are just a few examples of the voice actors changing their voice to sound like the animal that is being shown. Some of the voice actors are from very different age groups too, even though so many of them voice characters who are 17 or 18 years old. Like Jonah Scott, the voice of Legoshi, was born in 1993, Lauren Landa, the voice of Juno, was born in 1988, KG Tang, who voices Bill, was born in 1984, Patrick Seiss, who voices Riz, was born in 1978, and Laura Jo Miller, the voice of Haru, was born in 1967. Her most well-known role was in a TV show called Give Me a Break, which started its run in 1981, and was cancelled after the network decided it was a good idea to let her character leave the show by going to college in 1987. Which was 10 years before Griffin Puatu, the voice of Louis, was even born. Which is completely insane, but yet it works because she can make her voice sound like a teenager.
I'm so not excited for midterms. History is my worst subject.
I mean, hell, she voices a 5-year-old in the TV show The Loud House.
According to my calculations, there is a direct correlation between the amount of time Clyde has been over and the number of privileges accrued by Lincoln.
Another thing I appreciate with the talent is they can use their voices to sell the visuals and actions that are being shown. Like for instance, getting interrupted. Take this scene with Patrick Seiss as Riggs and Kaylee McKean as Pina, for example.
If he insists on sullying my friendship with Tim, I'm afraid I'll have to shut him up. And for good measure, I'll devour you too.
These horns would only get in the way, and they certainly wouldn't taste good.
McKee makes this sound to display that something happened that interrupted Pina talking. If she doesn't do that, then it would sound like he just stopped talking, John Oliver, and it wouldn't sound nearly as good.
These horns would only get in the way, and they certainly wouldn't taste good.
As I said before, little things like that is what great professional voice actors can do to add to the scene. Possibly the best examples in this show of what a professional voice actor can do is Jonah Scott as Legoshi. He's changed the way that Legoshi sounds throughout the series, as the character goes from quiet reserve to gaining more confidence as the series goes on.
I clip my nails every day, but they grow back sharp by the next day. Well, I'm not the best athlete. I'm lying to myself when I say I need advice. I'm just looking for someone to solve my problems for me. I'm not a dog. I'm a wolf.
He can even change his voice drastically and still make it sound like his character.
I'm gonna go. Have a good day. Please don't make this into a scene, Louis darling.
Or go through a range of emotions in a short time. Just listen to this scene where he goes from calm to literally screaming.
This sucks. God, it was so much easier if he were a bad guy. I could just hate him. I could report him. Let it go. But I am never going to forgive you.
That had to put a tremendous amount of strain on his voice. Can you imagine if Netflix had hired Kevin Costner as Legoshi because he's a celebrity instead of Jonah Scott? I know he has no voice acting experience and he sounds nothing like a teenager, but he was in that movie Dancing with Wolves, so that's close enough, right?
the hell are you up to?
Absolutely terrible. And you can tell that every voice actor involved truly cares about the series and wants it to succeed, especially with the way Jonah Scott describes how much effort was put into it.
I personally know Maddie Morris, who's the writer, and if she had a question about the plot or something, she could come to me or any number of people who were like, is this what the fandom wanted? You don't know how much work went into making this season good. It was all like us doing stuff and pulling strings, and we wanted to make this as good as possible. It's kind of like a trickle-down thing that makes everybody sound good. So by us kind of making sure that everything was falling into place, right, we all tried to make sure that everybody was good.
I can keep going and show more examples, both good and bad, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is projects tend to be better when you hire professional voice actors instead of celebrities. I get it, a studio's job is technically to make money and not necessarily make the best project. And it's a lot easier to convince people to watch your movie if you say Beyonce is in it rather than the actress who played young Nala in the original is in it. Or to get people to buy your video game with the guy from this really popular show is in it. But it's frustrating because if they do a bad job, then that project's reputation is tarnished forever, no matter how popular or beloved the entire series may be. And since they have another profession to focus on, they might not be available to record lines when needed, which could result in the character being oddly silent, or their studio going through the headache of recasting and re-recording the role. So stop hiring celebrities as voice actors. Hire professional voice actors instead. They're going to do a better job, be more available, and care a lot more, because it's their profession, their livelihood. They will do the best job they can because they want to be asked back for other projects. The better the voice acting is, the better the project will be. And who knows, studios might end up making more money because when people see a good movie or show or play a good game, they tell their friends and family, and that might convince them to watch or play it too. And a lot of that is contributed to the voice acting. Because it doesn't matter how good your movie is or how fun your game is, if the voice acting sucks, it's going to have a negative impact on the audience's experience. But if you can get a group of professional voice actors who genuinely care about their project, love what they're doing, and can do a great job, you can create something truly wonderful. Thanks for watching.